Well, how important is the 90 for Life program to human survival? How important is the 90 for Life program to American health? How important is the 90 for Life program for your family's health, your kids and your grandkids, your nieces and nephews? Well, it's everything. A couple of things have come along here that have made us recognize the need for conscious supplementation here to our diets. Number one, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, Thomas Edison on Pearl Street in New York City, on the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, pulled the switch in the first commercial electric generating plant. Within 10 years of that event, every town, every municipality, every city in the industrialized world, including the U.S., switched from wood as universal fuel to electricity, propane, and natural gas. This resulted in a loss of our traditional source of mineral supplementation, the plant minerals, a.k.a. wood ashes, that we threw into our gardens every day. Great source of minerals, although they did not occur in a uniform blanket across the earth. So some wood ashes had 3 minerals, some had 10, some had 25, some had 50, some had 70. And, of course, the ones who had 70 had a healthier and longer life, just by dumb luck, because they didn't know enough to analyze the soil. The next event was, of course, we dammed up the big rivers to prevent them from flooding. Well, every year when the flooding did occur, the most valuable and most fertile of all our farmlands was bottomland, also known as floodplains. And that's because as the floodwaters would recede, the floodwaters would leave behind these minerals known as silt. You can look that one up in the dictionary, silt, S-I-L-T, which is the minerals from the mountains hundreds or even thousands of miles away, be deposited in the field. And the farmer didn't scrape this stuff up and throw it away. No, he plowed it in every year. So every year we got the silt from the floods. We got the wood ashes every day from burning wood as fuel. And that all went away. Well, next thing that happened was, of course, by damming up the rivers, we shut off the food supply to the ocean. It's not pollution killing the ocean. It's a lack of food. We cut off the food supply to the ocean when we dammed up the rivers. Oh, we forgot that part. 850 billion tons of silt getting down into the ocean every year went away when we dammed up the rivers. People forgot the ocean needs food, too. Then, of course, the pharmaceutical industry came on board after the First World War, after the Second World War, and told people they didn't need to supplement. They needed to take pharmaceuticals. Well, after 25 years of following the damming up of the rivers, no more silt, 25 years after the giving up of the wood stoves and going to electricity, propane, and natural gas, the crops we had harvested sucked up all the nutrients in the soil, and now we use fertilizers in these big commercial farms, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and the animal industry knows this. So the animal industry puts in all 90 essential nutrients into the animal's food to maximize longevity and eliminate birth defects, maximize production of meat, eggs, milk, all from the same pound of feed. We don't have health insurance for animals. We just had to do it by adding vitamins and minerals to their food. Well, I urge you to get a hold of the books, Epigenetics. The subtitle is The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission. Tells the whole story. Immortality. This book looks at the top 20 longevity cultures on Earth, why they have 40 times 100 as we do, and just think about it. They're all third world, illiterate countries, no doctors, no private government insurance, no clinics, no hospitals, and yet they have 40 times 100 as we do. That's because by dumb luck, they have 60 minerals or more in their soil, their farmlands. They're still putting wood ashes in their gardens because they don't have utilities. They don't have electricity, propane, or natural gas. And then Rare Earths Forbidden Cures, which came out in 1994, it's still the best source of information of how important minerals are to us. Goes into why we are amongst the sickest nations on Earth, why we are the number one obese nation on Earth. So again, the 3 books, Epigenetics, the new one, just came out. Immortality, that's been out for a couple of years, but it's one of the best-selling books because it shows people what they can do in their own home to add 25 to 50 healthy years in their life. And if you're interested in the science of what minerals do, how they make genes work, how they make things like RNA and DNA work, the cofactors to help you digest and absorb your food, make every enzyme work in your body, get a hold of the book, Rare Earths Forbidden Cures. Those 3 books will give you a greater insight of what needs to be done here than anything your doctors have learned in 8 years of medical school. Okay, those 3 books. And then, of course, you need to get on the 90 for Life program. Now that you have all this knowledge, you need to take action. And we have the capacity to make America the slimmest, healthiest nation on earth. Just in a couple of months. We have the capacity to eliminate type 2 diabetes, 90% of the total diabetic population in weeks or months, certainly no longer than months. We have the ability to prevent and reverse all types of osteopenia, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, degenerative arthritis, and bone-to-bone arthritis, and rheumatoid arthritis. These things are very simple diseases. And, of course, because we have insurance, the medical doctors invented so many expensive treatments. Congestive heart failure, the most common cause of heart death in America. We learned in 1772 from a Japanese naval surgeon that congestive heart failure is a deficiency of a single vitamin. We've had people who are on the heart transplant list. I mean, I have never seen such a thing. Their cardiologist took them off the heart transplant list, got them off of 27 prescription drugs, and deemed them cured just by supplementation with all 90 essential nutrients, and several thousand times the minimum daily requirement that one vitamin is missing when you have congestive heart failure. And we're able to support and promote maintenance repair of the myocardium, the heart muscle. It's like crazy. Is it that simple? Yeah, it is that simple. Contact your Youngevity associate today and ask for the books Epigenetics, Immortality, and Rare Earth Bin Cures. You'll be shocked and you'll be saved. Stick with us. We'll be back with more Truth, Justice, and the Youngevity Way on Dead Doctors Don't Lie for these messages. Okay, Doug, what pearls of wisdom do you have for us?
Well, this actually means you get vindicated again. According to a Fox News story, it's headlined, "Unhealthy Diets, Greater Threat to Health Than Tobacco," says UN expert. They say the United Nations investigator, a Belgian professor, Olivier de Schutter, says that unhealthy diets pose a greater risk to global health than tobacco, and governments should move fast to tax harmful food products. It was a statement at the annual summit of the World Health Organization. They say called for efforts to launch negotiations on a global pact to tackle the obesity epidemic. According to this de Schutter guy, he says unhealthy diets are now a greater threat to global health than tobacco. Say in 2005, a UN convention on tobacco control aimed at reducing deaths and health problems caused by the product. And they say a report to the Rights Council in 2012 said that a similar accord should be included on unhealthy products, regulating foods in high in saturated fats. There they go again after the saturated fats again. And we know about that. What was that doctor's name again? The one that started
Ancel Keyes.
Yeah, Keyes.
Yeah, he and Proctor and Gamble and the American Heart Association. Those three, Dr. Keyes, the American Heart Association, and Proctor and Gamble conspired just to sell Crisco, a saturated fat, which is hydrogenated, took oil and took it from a liquid to being solid, to replace lard, just to generate money for the American Heart Association. And they told people a big lie, because there was never any research done, saying that polyunsaturated fats and hydrogenated oils were much healthier than saturated animal fats like butter and cream and lard. And they have killed more Americans, as this guy said, bad diet. Ancel Keyes, American Heart Association, and Procter and Gamble through Crisco, both the liquid oil and the hydrogenated oil, Crisco, have killed more people than all the wars since the written history in the world.
Wow. Yeah, I find it interesting, though, that they're finally starting to, after, you've been talking about this stuff for 40 years, and now finally the UN's coming around to think they want to try to tax this. According to this de Schutter guy, says any attempts to promote better diets and combat obesity will only work if the food systems underpinning them are put right. Says governments have been focusing on increasing calories availability, but they have been indifferent on what kind of calories are on the offer and at what price and to whom they are made available. And, we've long known that, in a lot of, inner city communities where they don't have as much access to healthy foods, that you see a rise in obesity and diabetes and other related diseases, simply because, the good healthy fruits and vegetables and good, produce really isn't even available to them. And so maybe now that the UN is on this thing, we'll get it turned around. But I kind of have a feeling, Doc, that the pharmaceutical industry is still got a pretty powerful arm out there.
You're exactly right. They have a powerful hold. They have an investment interest in making sure Everybody keeps using statin drugs to lower cholesterol, and there's not a single disease caused by elevated blood cholesterol. Normal cholesterol is 220 to 270. Doctors want to get it well below 200, maybe 160, 170. That's their goal. And, of course, they cause Alzheimer's disease, low T, erectile dysfunction, menopause, and adrenal exhaustion, many other diseases. And, of course, they were able to develop drugs to sort of manage the symptoms of these cholesterol deficiencies. So the pharmaceutical companies made out like bandits, literally and figuratively. So really, thank you for bringing this one to the surface. It's just another one that shows they get an observation correct and then to make a left turn and make it wrong. We'll be back after these messages. Okay, Doug, let's go to callers.
Let's head to Kansas. And Tom, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Tom. How's it going, sir?
Hey, Doc. Doing well. How are you?
Okay. How can we help you?
Well, I've got a gentleman that I'm working with up in Ohio. Really three situations. One's the prostate. Okay. He's had the Roto-Rooter about 2 years ago. His PSA was 25. It's down around 10 now, but it's enlarged, and he's on medication, the Avodot. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the doctor wants to go in and address that issue.
How did it work for him the first time?
Exactly.
Okay, so what else has he got?
Okay, kidney stones, and he's getting a little blood in the urine. He thinks that's from the kidney stones. It only happens occasionally. Mm-hmm. My other question would be, since he is on the Avodot, how do we do the ProstFX and everything that you're going to recommend? He's
okay, how much does this guy weigh, Tommy?
175.
Okay. All right. Does he have any skin issues or respiratory stuff or digestive stuff?
No, he's good with the gluten.
Okay, very good. All right. Elevated PSA, of course, is a very problematic screening because the government says don't even get the test because doctors love for it to go up, and they can poke on that prostate, and by poking on the prostate, they make the PSA go up. And they say, we have to have a biopsy. Well, this biopsy is inconclusive, so let's err on the side of safety and take it out. And it's just, one step leads to the other. And the government was saying there's so many bad things that happen following a PSA test. The government says do not even get them. Okay? Each year in America, medical doctors, and this study was done by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General. It came out in November 2010. They said it said monthly, each month, Tommy, medical doctors kill 15,000 seniors. I'm assuming half of those are men, so 15,000 would be 7,500 each month. Men are killed by doctors doing these sort of screening tests in hospitals, okay, just as a result of the screening test. So that's not a good thing. 30,000 men die within an hour after the procedure of roto-rooting out that prostate gland. Within an hour after the procedure. 250,000 each year are permanently damaged with erectile dysfunction and also incontinence, where they dribble urine all the time or have urgency and so forth because there's complications of the surgery. That's not a big thing. You're exactly right when it comes to the kidney stones. Kidney stones are caused by raging osteoporosis, and the parathyroid gland is pulling calcium out of the bones to try and maintain optimal blood calcium levels, and it tends to overcompensate. And so when you see high blood calcium, the average medical doctor will say, don't supplement, don't eat dairy, when in fact you should be supplementing and eat more dairy. Okay, Doug, let's go right back to Kansas and Tommy. Shar, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, this is a Shar thing. Here's a 175-pound guy, has a history of kidney stones, and also enlarged prostate. What would you do for this guy as a supplement program?
I would put him on 2 healthy start packs, but he needs to add the Ultimate Daily for the kidney stones.
Okay, that'll work.
And, for the calcium and stuff, he needs calcium.
And what would you do for the prostate?
For the prostate.
ProstFX, very good. So, 175-pound guy. I would switch that healthy start pack to the healthy bone and joint pack. Okay, I would kind of be a little more aggressive there because he does have kidney stones, but your basic tenet is correct, Char. I would give him 1 ounce of the Osteo FX Plus at breakfast and dinner, 2 scoops of the Beyond Tangerine 2.0 NutriCrystals at breakfast and dinner, 3 of the EFA Pluses at breakfast and dinner, and 15 glucogel a day, 5 at breakfast, 5 at lunch, 5 at dinner to help retain more calcium in the bones and less as kidney stones. And then the ProstFX, you're exactly right there. I'd have him, since his PSA was so high, 25, he needs to stay away from that, doctor, because he's probably poking on that prostate to actually stimulate the PSA to go up. And so I would give him 9 of the ProstFX capsules a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner, be 3 bottles per month. And obviously need to stay away from all the bad stuff, any inflammatory things that are going to do bad things to the prostate gland. No fried foods, no processed meats with nitrates, nitrites, no oils, no margarine, mayonnaise, salad dressing, cooking oils, and certainly no olive oil, no coconut oil. And also, I would make sure he stays away from gluten. Even though there is no overt signs, when a guy gets these kind of problems, I would definitely get him off of gluten to maximize absorption of the nutrients. Give us a call every couple of weeks, Tommy. Let us know how this guy's doing. Okay, Doug, let's go back to callers.
Let's head to Ohio. And Jim, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Oh, Jim, you're on the air.
Hey, Doc, how you doing today?
Fine, sir. How can we help you?
I've got a 7-year-old, 61-pound male golden retriever who for the last several days was constipated and was running a fever of around 103, 104. We took him to the vet on last Wednesday, the 14th, and they put him on 6 cc's of mineral oil, and I started him on herbal rainforest. He's now moving again. They also did blood work on him. This is what's got us worried. His white blood cells are high at 21. Red blood cells are 3.39. Hemoglobin is 7.2. Platelets are also low. His bile acids are high, and both fasting and after feeding. They did an ultrasound that showed multifocal bumps or tumors on his spleen. They did a fine needle aspirate of the spleen, and we're still waiting on the results of that test. But they're assuming, or they're considering that there may be either lymphoma or histiocytosis, and they think it's affecting the liver and the spleen, possible liver failure. I've currently got him on 2 scoops a day of Arthrodex, 3 selenium, 6 glucogel, and the vet's got him on 10 milligrams of prednisone, 1,000 milligrams of amoxicillin, and 8 milligrams.
Okay, well, what I would throw in for this dog is I would throw in the Ocean's Gold because of the sea cucumbers in there. Great stuff for supporting the immune system, especially when one has cancer, whether you're a dog or a human being or a hummingbird. I'd give them 3 a day.
Let's head to Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Sydney. You're on with Dr. Wallach.
Sydney, you're on the air.
Hello, doctor. How you doing?
Okay, sir. How can we help you?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for getting rid of my arthritis, and
thanks for the testimony,
and for getting my ankylosing spondylitis probably about 10 times better than it has been in 20 years.
Okay, well, that's the question I was going to ask. How long have you been suffering with arthritis and ankylosing spondylitis? 20 years?
30 years.
30 years, okay. How long did it take you to see major results from the 90 for Life program?
3 weeks.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, my wife
about
is short now.
To your doctor?
No, I haven't seen a doctor in 7 years.
Okay, good. Well, what I would do, the last doctor you saw, I would send him an email saying, after you treated me for 20 years with the disease getting progressively worse, I found a little program that got rid of it all in 3 weeks. If you want to know something to help the rest of your patient, give me a buzz. How can we help you today, sir? How can we help you today?
My question is about copper deficiency.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with iron deficient anemia with immature blood cells 27 years ago. 25 years ago, my hair started turning gray, and it's about 85% gray. My concern with that, though, is after listening to your CD, is aneurysms.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you're exactly right.
how can I tell when I have reduced my risk of having an aneurysm?
Okay. How much do you weigh, Sidney?
165.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other things that we need to know about? Any skin problems, any eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, rosacea, any asthma, history of respiratory stuff?
No.
Okay, good. Any bowel stuff, any constipation, diarrhea, diverticulitis, irritable bowel syndrome?
No.
Okay, super. Okay, Shar, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, this is right up your alley because your husband, Joe, suffered from gray hair, right? And, of course, Sidney's doing all the basic stuff. He's gotten rid of his arthritis and 90% improvement in his ankylosing spondylitis in his back. And so what extra would you give him in addition to, say, the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack? I'm assuming that's your taking, Sidney, the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. What would you add to that to give him the copper necessary to actually see dramatic improvement in hair color? And also for those of you out there with spider veins, varicose veins, and hemorrhoids, they should see improvement because this add-on will support and promote maintenance repair of the connective tissue and the elastic fibers in blood vessels. What would you give him?
Ultimate selenium, because there's copper in it.
Okay, so you got it, a copper deficiency. And how long? I mean, when I met you and Joe 25 years ago, your husband, he had snow white hair. And today his hair is like, what's that kid movie actor who's got red fuzzy hair?
It's kind of a reddy brown color.
Yeah, and so at any rate, how long did it take after, your husband had this white hair almost for 10, 12, 15 years, how long did it take before he started seeing the color come back to his hair?
I don't even remember. It wasn't too long.
Okay, so it was less than a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so now you have a lot of experience with somebody who really had terminal aneurysms. Were told by their doctor it was inoperable and terminal. We're talking about Steve out of New York, right?
Yeah, Steve, exactly. And he got
he got better in 3 months.
Yeah, he took everything, and he was older yet.
Yeah, he was 78 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and so for Sidney, weighing 165 pounds, having gray hair, what I would do, Sidney, is add to the program you're already doing. I'd go ahead and add 3 of our Ultimate Selenium. I'd go 3 times a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner. That would be 3 bottles a month, and you're exactly right. When you have hair that's progressively gray, white, or silver, the concern is not the cosmetic thing that your hair is losing color, but the fact that the odds are you have aneurysms. And 65% of the people who die of something else, like in a car wreck or falling out of an airplane or being run over by a truck or something, house fires, when they go to autopsy, 65% of them are loaded with aneurysms all through their body. They just hadn't ruptured yet. And you could die from a heart attack, cardiomyopathy heart attack caused by a selenium deficiency when you're 75 years old and have 35 or 40 aneurysms, and none of them had ruptured yet. And so when you see the hair color coming back, you're actually supporting and promoting maintenance repair of the elastic fibers and blood vessels. It'll be veins and arteries and capillaries, the connectors there. And so you're going to see the hair color coming back, and you're going to see an improvement in the artery health. Great question. Okay, let's see here. Doug, let's go to callers.
Let's head to Canada. And Brenda, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Brenda, you're on
Hi,
the air.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. Hey, Dr. Wallach, I'm calling. Yeah. We met in Camrose, actually. I look after my dad, who's a World War II veteran, in the wheelchair. I don't know if you recall him or not. Hello?
I'm listening. How can we help you?
Dr. Wallach, he has a chronic cough. It gets worse when he lays down at night. And you suggested 9 essential fatty acids about 3 weeks ago, and I've increased his 9 essential fatty acids, and it helps for a while, and then the cough comes back. I'm not sure if he's aspirating on food. He definitely has some difficulty breathing, respiratory issues. I'm wondering if it's congestive heart failure.
Well, congestive heart failure is easy to diagnose with a physical examination. So this question would be answered if he has congestive heart failure. It can certainly contribute to chronic cough. He has not been diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I'd take him to a cardiologist and say, hey, I'm concerned about the possibility of congestive heart failure. Let's have you listen to him. Let's look at a ultrasound, do a physical exam, and you tell me if he's got congestive heart failure. If he does have congestive heart failure, of course, what would you give him, Shar, for congestive heart failure?
Congestive heart failure, I give him de-stress.
Exactly. Perfect. You get a 100 score there. The de-stress contains the one vitamin that's missing when you get congestive heart failure. Congestive heart failure is not genetically transmitted. It's not something that just happens. Congestive heart failure is, in fact, a deficiency of a single vitamin. This was discovered in 1772 by a Japanese naval surgeon. But doctors only make less than $100 in office calls when they're able to reverse congestive heart failure with supplementation. And so they choose long-term use of drugs like digitalis and diuretics, water pills to get rid of the fluid that accumulates, and they put you on the heart transplant list, and they'll make $250,000 from you when you have congestive heart failure following the typical medical approach, managing congestive heart failure rather than getting rid of it. Well, we can support and promote healthy maintenance repair of the myocardial cells, the heart and muscle cells, again with the healthy brain and heart pack, 1 per 100 pounds of body weight. I would throw in the de-stress capsules, as Shar suggested, 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. That'd be 2 bottles a month per 100 pounds of body weight. And let's see how much that helps. The fact that you got some help, that's a good thing. Give us a call every couple of weeks here, Brenda. We'll be back after these messages. We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Youngevity, 9 for Life Crusade. And Doug, let's go to callers.
Let's head to Rogers, Arkansas. And Shannon, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Shannon, you're on the air.
Hi, Dr. Wallach.
Hi. How can we help you?
My mother-in-law was diagnosed with invasive breast cancer, and it's outside of the tissue. We're not positive what all this means.
Okay, well, usually outside of the tissue means it's in the lymph nodes, under the armpit, or maybe inside the chest. It could be in the lungs. It could be in the liver. It could be any place. And so did they give a staging like stage 3, stage 4?
They're saying they called Friday. She actually has a meeting today at 3:30 with the doctors, and they're doing MRIs on Wednesday.
Okay. So you'll have more information Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, but what she would like to know is what vitamins you recommend that she starts taking now.
Okay, well, how much does she weigh?
260.
Okay, how tall is she? She's a big girl.
She's 5'2". She's doing the low-carb diet. She's been on it for about 2 months, and she's starting glucose-free.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, does she have any history of skin problems, any eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, rosacea, any respiratory problems, or constipation, diarrhea?
No, none of that.
Okay. All right. Well, I would go ahead and put her on a program that maximizes her support for her immune system. Ideally, she would have 3 of the healthy brain and heart packs per month. That's going to give her 9 selenium a day, which is going to support her immune system, one of your best friends when you have cancer. I would also give her 9 a day of our Ocean's Gold. And why that? Because the Ocean's Gold is loaded with sea cucumber, which is huge articles here in the last year showing very clearly that natural substances in sea cucumbers actually support the immune system, particularly when you have cancer. Very, very useful for the immune system when you have cancer. Our sea cucumber product called Ocean's Gold. 3 of those 3 times a day, 3 bottles a month. But also give her the Cell Shield RTQ, 5 3 times a day. It's like 1 per 100 pounds of body weight. 260, she's close enough to 300. She needs 5 3 times a day of the Cell Shield RTQ. And, of course, you got to stop the ongoing damage. The ongoing damage, I would get her off of the fried foods, absolutely no processed meats with nitrates and nitrites. It means no deli slices, sandwich meats, sausage, ham, bacon, bologna, salami, pastrami, pepperoni, jerky. I would also take her off of all oils, no coconut oil, no olive oil, no margarine, mayonnaise, salad dressing, cooking oils, And even though she doesn't have any overt signs, I would get her off of gluten, no wheat, brown, rye, or oats, so that she would maximize her absorption of these nutrients, get maximum benefit. If that is cost prohibitive, I would not cut anything lower than 2 doses a day. And so it would be 2 of everything instead of 3. And otherwise, you're not going to have much of an impact, okay? Because it's all dose-related for body weight. And what I want you to do is give us a call every couple of weeks. Certainly give us a call after she gets the results of the MRI and the consultation with her doctor. Okay, Doug, how much time we got here?
Just about 30 seconds.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and take it and just remind everybody the new book out is just going off the shelf like crazy. Epigenetics. The subtitle is The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission. Remember, the halls of science are filled with failed medical theories. And the latest one that you've lived during is the theory that all diseases are caused by mixed-up genes, and if you could only generate a genetically engineered gene to replace a healthy one, to replace the bad one, you can cure all diseases. Well, James Watson, the American part of the Watson and Crick team that in 1953 proposed the double helix structure of DNA, came out in March of 2013, exactly 60 years later, and said, oops, all the experiments we've done in genetics over the last 60 years have proved to be irrelevant. The problem to preventing and curing cancer and diabetes and other diseases thought to be genetically transmitted is that it's not genetically transmitted. It's caused by a problem of chemistry, biochemistry, nutritional deficiencies. Whoa, that was heavy. That's why the book Epigenetics is so valuable right now. Get that book, Epigenetics. You'll be amazed what you're going to learn and how you can save yourself and your family. Epigenetics, the death of the genetic theory of disease transmission. Well, thank you, Shar. Super job. Thank you so much, Doug and Susan. Superlative job as usual. God bless each and every one of you. God bless our troops. God bless our Navy SEALs. And God bless America.